Have you ever felt like that if you just can't do something perfectly, then you're just not going to do it at all? Well, my friend, that's not discipline, that's perfectionism. And that is one of the sneakiest traps that will keep Christian writers from ever finishing the book that God has asked you to write. Hi, I'm Shonda Whitworth, and I'm a Christian nonfiction writing coach. I help authors conquer overwhelm, finish their manuscripts, and release the book that God has called them to write. The New York Times once reported that 81% of people actually say they want to write a book. Only 6% ever complete a manuscript, but actually only 1% ever publishes. I am here to help you rise to that 1%. All right. And perfectionism is one of the biggest reasons writers never make it across that finish line. All right. I know personally what it's like to struggle with perfectionism because it showed up in my life way long before I ever decided to write a book. All right. And that was back when I was in elementary school. I was so excited to go home and show my dad how well I had done on a paper. But instead of celebrating that accomplishment, he looked at it and with a stern face and voice said, "Why did you only get a 97? You didn't have to miss that problem. Next time, maybe you'll get a 100." Well, in that moment, I felt deflated. And that is the first memory I have of not feeling good enough. I can look back now and I know that my dad was just trying to motivate me. And what it did though, it planted this belief that if I wasn't perfect, then I would be rejected. That lie sat in my subconscious for years and it showed up every time I went to accomplish something, especially writing. When I began writing, I could feel the pressure. I could feel it when I sat at the computer with great intentions. Then the thoughts, those sneaky little thoughts, would show up saying, "Yeah, this just isn't good enough." And instead of moving forward, I would stall out. I would tell myself, "Oh, I need to research more. I need to read another book. I need to sign up for another course. I need to read another article." Or if it wasn't reading and research related to the writing or trying to improve writing, that it was, "Oh, I need to clean out that drawer or I need to organize a closet." All those things made me feel like I was being productive, but really all it is procrastination in disguise, perfectionism. And at what's the cost? The cost is frustration, the cost is shame. The cost is the whisper that I'm not really cut out to be a writer. Who do I think I am to write anything and share my story, to share the lessons I've learned? Who do I think I am? And perfectionism, it steals the time by diverting our attention to do other things, but it also steals our confidence. And when we allow it to steal our confidence, it also steals our calling, the calling that God gave each one of us to share our testimony. Because remember, we overcome, according to Revelation 12, 10, 11, we overcome the accuser by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. It's our calling to share our testimony. But thank God he doesn't leave us there. Okay. He doesn't leave us stuck in this trap of perfectionism. God gave me this scripture when I was writing my very first Bible study, and it's from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. It says, "My grace is all you need." This is God talking. Paul's quoting this. "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness." Perfectionism will tell you, hide your weaknesses. God says, share your weaknesses, put it in the light, because that's where his power is going to be seen the best. It's through our weaknesses God's power is going to work. And so there's a big difference, my friend, between perfectionism and excellence. Perfectionism is rooted in a spirit of fear and it will paralyze us. It'll paralyze, keep us from doing what God's called us to do. But excellence is actually stewardship. It's doing the best we know how to do with the gifts and resources that God's given us, all for His glory. You've heard the saying, done is better than perfect, right? That's what it is. Show up and do it, release it. Perfectionism is merely a prison. Excellence is a is freedom. You want freedom? Show up in excellence. All right. Here's an example. Last year, I launched a Substack, but I want to share with you how imperfect action will move you further than perfect intentions. Before I launched the Substack, I put it off for 3 months because I wanted to get it right. I wanted to figure out how the platform worked. I wanted to get the heading perfect. I wanted to get the font perfect. I wanted to make sure I got my about page just right. You know what? It finally got overwhelming. And eventually I got to the point. Enough is enough. Enough, enough. I just going to launch it. I'm just going to put it out there. So I launched it and I've been figuring it out as I go. And you know what? That's how progress happens. If I waited till I figured it out, if I waited till I made it just perfect, I'd still be waiting because there's always room for there's always room for improvement. Okay, let me say that again. There's always room for improvement. We're not all going to put out something that's perfect. Nobody puts out a perfect book. And I tell people that all the time. I've read books by famous authors with significant platforms published by the top publishing houses in the country. And guess what? When I read the books, guess what? I still find typos. I still find mistakes. There's no perfect books. All right. And so if you're waiting for it to be perfect, you're going to keep waiting. You can die in the waiting room of waiting. Don't wait. Get up and take action. So let me leave you with this. God didn't call you or me to be flawless. He called us to be faithful. Our writing, our work, our book, it doesn't have to be perfect to change someone's life. It just has to be written. All right, my friend, I would love to hear from you. What project are you avoiding right now because perfectionism has shut you down? Please drop it in the comments. Let's encourage one another. And if this video spoke to you, please share it with another writer today. Please share it with someone because let us all rise into the 1% together. All right. And make sure that you subscribe because in the next video, we're going to talk about procrastination and how to finally break that cycle so you can finish your manuscript. God bless.